just think we should have a new law because it's not right for people to be littering and throwing needles on the ground. Honestly, there's no excuse. We've got nothing or whatever. You think some surgeons out there are happy? No, there's people that work so hard, got everything, house, kids, car, and they can't anymore. They feel like they're gonna snap and just end it. Alright. By the way, I understand drug use, but you better not be throwing needles. People should get arrested for polluting. Alright? Because it's hard for everybody. Everybody's got trauma. Everybody's going through something. That's what life is about. And in life, we're so freaking man. Yo, my hands are gonna. She's very strong. She is very strong. And hold on. Daisy, sit down. All the gophers. Please don't eat the gophers. Please don't do that. Okay? So I just want to say that it should be a law. And by the way, drug use should be in a dispensary where people don't do it as like, oh my gosh, it's so bad. Because if you put it in a dispensary, okay, I know, listen, you take men away, you make them go to war, sacrifice their bodies where they could get blown up in pieces. And then you expect people to be sober. You expect people to be sober when there are pedophiles as priests. You expect people to be sober when there are war, when there's housing problems, when people are working slavery jobs. Please rethink this. So I think just let it be. If people are having opium and I don't know, I don't think meth should be out there because anything that's really dangerous to other people. I mean, if you're legalizing alcohol, you should just have a dispensary for opium at this point, okay? Because it's both bad for driving and, but opium is much more peaceful than people being drunk, okay? So now, another thing, people that urinate in public should be arrested. I don't know why, I've seen this guy pee in front of my apartment building, and it's like, I get it, like, life is hard, but remember, it's like that for everybody, okay? Like, I don't even know how to say it, but having needles on the ground, these are grown people doing that. Grown people. I've had my time where I was cruel to the world because people were really cruel to me, and it felt like nobody had my back for anything. Like, I'm not talking about little things, I'm talking about, like, things that are pretty serious. And I felt so alone. People just saw the money I had and, oh my gosh, this little, okay, and just, okay, so I'll tell you about it later. But the worst thing, like, you don't do that. You don't freaking do that. That's not okay. There should be laws. The police need to do much more because look at the streets in London, how much people are using on the street. It looks like the ghetto, okay? It looks like it's just horrible, okay? It looks like Zombieland because I think the police needs to clean up. There should be a law where it's strict, okay, where the police needs to clean up the city, where you can't just use drugs in public in front of people because you can't loiter around a school or a church. Okay, there's needles on the ground. Your pet could be stepping on it. Your child, somebody's child. Like, this is serious stuff, all right? Vancouver only legalized how much dope you can have on you, which is stupid. Legalize safe drug supply, period. And you shouldn't have drugs on you unless you're gonna go home, You should have, like, if only they could fix this. They can fix this. You shouldn't let people sit around in front of places where children are looking like idiots doing drugs. Even if they're not showing it. Like, they shouldn't be sitting out there smelling like alcohol, smelling horrible. Okay, one second, I gotta get back up. I don't know how to explain this, okay, but you can tell if you look at Vancouver, London, it's not the drugs. Because if there was no drugs, the shitty people are still out there. People with no manners. Okay, look at the vandalism. Okay, there's art and there's just inappropriate. All right, you gotta step up your game and throw people in jail where they can understand, hey, when I get out, I'm gonna be a proper person. Okay, because there's children that think, oh, wow, I'm forced in this life. This is the life I'm forced to be in. You know, there's a nice, beautiful park that I don't know how to explain. I wish you could just understand how I feel. All right, I'm a woman. I want to have the children, but now I don't. It's bad. There's pimps everywhere. Abuse, you know, because they want to get this money. Like, women selling their body, men going to war. They could get blown up. This could be your husband, your lovers, family member, like, you know. And then they think drugs are the problem. There's way more worse than that. Let's start with the environment. If people can learn to clean up the environment, it'll create peace. It'll teach people peace. Okay? I wish I could explain this. I wish you could understand what I'm trying to say. I wish I could say this in a way where it makes sense. Okay, well, peace and love. Peace and love and clean up. I always clean up. Every time I see plastic, I put it in the trash. Every time I see something, I put it in the trash, you know. I buy my drugs off the street. I say, hey, you got any down? Hey, you got this, you got that? Yeah, I do. But there's people that just, you give them charity and then just throw peanut butter on the ground. They'll throw their wrappers on the ground. Like, you are, like, people, like, okay, you think you're the only one? Yeah, you have nothing. But there's people, that's horrible. There's no excuse to it. I used to sleep in the McDonald's bathroom when I was 13 years old. Because school was hell, home was hell, okay? Because nothing to, I don't want to make anyone look bad, but everyone had problems. Everybody in this world, everyone has trauma, okay? Sometimes it's hard, but that doesn't mean you gotta litter. That doesn't mean you gotta piss in front of buildings where children go to school. That doesn't mean you gotta pat needles where little dogs can walk on. You know, c'est pas correct, man. School can teach people manners instead of math. Okay, there's a lot that can be done. Clean up the city. Use law enforcement to make the earth healthy and good environment. You know, to stop pollution. All right, and to keep children safe. All right, because seriously, I even worry for that child. I don't want him to see some idiot throwing litter everywhere. Like, you want me to cry? Oh my gosh, you don't have a house. Everyone's going through shit out here. Okay, there's people that don't have a house and they keep everything clean and then good karma comes in. Sometimes people are at a certain situation because they gotta learn a certain lesson. It doesn't mean God hates you. It doesn't mean you're a terrible person, that's why you're there. But at the same time, it's like, it's okay if you made a mistake. Let's say you did litter and pee everywhere. I don't know. It's okay. Just learn from your experience and move on. I gotta go. Peace. Okay, well. All right. Okay.